my eyes just don't know. I don't know. I'm looking, yeah.
Mark Clarke, that's classic. I love it.
Bootsy Vegas Unbridled, along with Raheem Devon, the Crank Crusaders.
Which we had a gig this week. Shout out to the Cancer Society that hired us. We played at the Grand Hyatt. Shout out to all 6,000 people that showed up this weekend. Your boy is feeling really like young Maurice. The rebirth for real. I must be Maurice now. I must be Maurice. And also, shout out to Earth, Wind, and Fire, who this Saturday will be in Virginia playing with Carlos Santana, and your boy is hanging out. Ooh.
That's what I'm talking about. It's been a minute. People are like, where are y'all? Where are y'all? We've just been busy. Bootsy's been so busy. He hasn't been returning my calls. He's been out in these streets.
Really?
Gigs.
Oh, really, vacation man? Oh, really, Mr. South Carolina?
Well,
you know, the beat. Okay, it's on me.
Well, well, we're back, and we're back big time. We got a special guest. Tonight's guest, Monique Holly Bootsy. She has created a documentary that speaks to you, my brother. You are living it. It's called Hello, Forties.
Oh, wow.
Hello, Forties. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, she's beautiful, she's talented, she's special. She is Monique Holly, ladies and gentlemen, joins us. Welcome, Monique.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So Monique and Bootsy are all smack dab up in the 40s. You guys are living the 40 experience. Your elder statesman, I've moved on for past 40, but I was just
years ago
off the air.
You moved on a while ago, but go ahead though.
We were talking off the air, and I was telling Monique, man, the 40s, man, were chocked with a lot of information, a lot of transition, a lot of wins, a lot of losses. I don't say losses, a lot of lessons. And so Monique Holly, first of all, congratulations on putting together this amazing documentary and some of the people, Bootsy, that will be featured. First of all, I'm going to be the host and the facilitator of the event. And then the lovely Lois Cook will be on the red carpet. If you haven't, of course, Bootsy, you know Lois, she's been a guest on the show, as has Dana Hicks Hungerford has joined us on this very show. Fiona Dawson, Emmy-nominated filmmaker and LGBTQIA advocate, Tony T. Roberson, and Raquel Urena, all a part of this amazing team that Monique has assembled. Now, Bootsy, I don't think you had a chance to see Monique in the stage play done by Dana, but Monique was not only looking smashing, not only
as she is now
sassy. She was a friend. She was a friend in the play, Bootsy. She was the voice of reason in the play. But we didn't know it at the time.
No, I was a troublemaker.
Right, you were not the voice of reason. So now let's talk about your play. So Monique, first let's talk about you. So I saw you in that play. I know a little about the background, but tell us about Monique Holly.
So Monique, well, thank you guys again for having me on the show. I am a native Washingtonian. I am, yes.
What high school you went to? What high school you went to?
H.D. Woodson. Warriors. I think you've heard it.
Okay, no fighting, kids.
I went to McKinley Tech, but I got much love for H.D. Woodson.
I'm not mad at McKinley. You're all right.
Okay.
Okay, all right. It was peaceful.
But I'm a native Washingtonian, and I have a background in television and film. I've always known I've wanted to work in television and film. If you look in my yearbook, H.D. Woodson's yearbook, you'll see I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I wanted to be in media, whether it was in front of the camera or behind the camera. And that's what I have in my yearbook. You know, when you say what you're going to grow up, I'm going to work in television. That's what I said.
If you only knew what I wrote in my yearbook, but go ahead.
No, say it again.
I said, if you only knew what I had written in my yearbook on what I wanted to be.
You want to share?
Yeah, I said I wanted to be in the best go-go band in the history of the DMV.
Okay.
High hopes, right? Man, if y'all could have saw my father's face when he saw that, like, Negro, that's all you can think of? But yeah.
No, that was huge, though. Yeah. That was huge.
Dream big, Bootsy, dream big.
Yes. Yeah, but so I've always known I have a television and film background. I went to Norfolk State University for mass communications.
Behold the green and gold. Behold the green and gold.
Behold, yes.
My daughter goes there, even though he's not shouting out right now.
Really? Who was there?
My daughter.
Mark Clarke's daughter.
Really?
Skylar is a behold the green and gold. And Bootsy, Uncle Bootsy, you're absolutely right. Thank you, my friend. I didn't have to. You did it.
Congratulations, Mark.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, because that whole experience had shaped me. It has shaped me, and the campus is beautiful now, but that experience is a movie in itself. But I went to Norfolk State University, graduated with a degree in mass communications. After that, I worked in television and film for a few years, and then I've always wanted to move to LA. Decided to move to LA after I pondered over it for 10 years. And finally moved. I was there for about 8 months, and then was hired to work in New York as an associate producer. And then I decided to come home. My son appears. He's now 12 years old.
Okay.
And at that point, I transitioned into information technology because my experience in LA, when I worked for the production company I worked for, was run by individuals who were younger than me. I moved to LA when I was in my 30s, early 30s, and they were younger than me. And it was just motivating to see that even the CEO, I think, was a few years younger than me. So when I moved back home, I just said to myself, I want to position myself to be able to fund my own projects. So I went to Georgetown University, majored in technology management, because I said, if I'm going to transition into something else, I need to go as high as I can, right? So I did that. The minute I graduated from Georgetown, I made a promise to myself that I would get back into television and film because it was so hard, but I knew I had to do it. But I made a promise to myself to get back into television and film, and I've kept that promise. And here we are.
Here we are. First of all, you must be brilliant. You know, you're beautiful, but you must be brilliant to go ahead and say, yeah, let me go ahead and go to Georgetown and get this IT popping.
Yeah, and I think, just putting it in context, as a DC native, coming from that area of H.D. Woodson, around that area, and to dream that big and then be able to hit the mark, that's a documentary within itself. And I do think there's a lot of people that can really value your story, because that's not an easy feat to pull off, just hearing your story in the beginning thus far. And I literally just met you.
And just like that. And so then, so now, Hello Forties.
Yeah.
How did you come to Hello Forties?
Yeah.
So Hello Forties, when I made that promise to myself, I didn't have any money. So I had the degree, and then my salary did start to increase slowly but surely. I had to demand what I wanted. So that took a few years. And I said, I'm tired of waiting. I looked at my iPhone and I said, who can I interview? So I started a blog, and the blog was titled Mo Media Presents. And I featured people who literally do what they love. You know, people were like, you have to make sure that you can monetize it. I just wanted to create. So I created the Mo Media blog, and I did that for about 2 years. It was extremely fulfilling because people were like, oh my goodness, thank you for interviewing me. And I was just like, no, you have no idea. Thank you. You know, so I created the blog. I did it for about 2 years. And through that, when you do something and you feel like it's time to take it to the next level, but I didn't know what to do. And I was like, I really don't have the money yet, but let me just keep on with this IT path. And then I know the money is going to come. And I just prayed on it, to be perfectly honest. I prayed on it, like literally on my knees.
Wow.
Because I love television and film. And I was like, what can I do? And so this idea came from me thinking about my 40s, how not difficult, but challenging. They were challenging because I made a lot of changes in my 40s. And I said,
like what? What changes did you make? Because normally, people call it a quarter life crisis or like a midlife crisis or whatever. Because in 40s is that age. I'm actually 42, so I'm transitioning that as well. There's a lot of things going on. What changes did you make, and what was the most drastic change that you made going into your 40s?
Great question. You are a baby. Look at you.
You have just been struck by the questioner.
And he dances too. That's so nice.
Well, every show, Monique, he kind of fell off, but every show, Bootsy usually gets that response. The person will say, "Great question." Now, let's keep it real. His batting average has been a little bit reduced lately, but Monique, with you, he's back and strong.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. But listen, I would say the biggest change was sticking to doing something that I did not necessarily love, but I had to do it.
What was that? What was that?
No, it's so fun. Transitioning into IT, like completely. When it was an inner struggle. When you know what you were born to do, but you have to do something else to make that happen. That is what it was at the time. And now I can embrace it because I still have my 9 to 5. And now I can embrace it because of how I positioned myself. However, at that time, I was a help desk technician. And, it was tough. At any given moment, I had to crawl under someone's desk to make sure that, all of their cables were connected and things like that. So it was something I was not used to, but I knew I had to do it. I knew I had to do it. So that would be the biggest thing for me, honestly, was transitioning into a career that I didn't love because I'm so passionate about television and film. I would literally, on my way to work, I would sometimes be in tears.
Okay, hold on, Monique. This needs to be, for those watching, that's designated as officially a bar. Doing something you do not want or like to do, to be able to do something that you love. And the lesson was perspective. The way you looked at your job changes when, okay, I don't necessarily love this job, but I love what I'm doing over here. So it's going to fund my dreams. So I'm going to not love this right here, but it's going to fund what I really love to do. So maybe that job that you hate right now is the pathway to your dreams, but they're looking at it wrong.
Yeah. And the other thing is, sometimes when you get to your 40s, you think you've missed the mark. So I think it just says a lot, the fact that you were in your 40s and you didn't feel like you missed a date or you were too, you had missed a window. A lot of times when you get to your 40s, you think you missed the window of opportunity. And I think that says a lot as well, is that people feel like they have this deadline in the back of their mind. And obviously when you're in your 40s and you got children and all that, you think you missed it. So I think that says a lot as well, because it is never too late. So I just want to say that as well.
Yes, thank you for that. And that's actually one of the taglines for Hello 40s. But to piggyback off of what you just said, I really did at one point feel like I missed the mark. But what helped me to move out of that mentally and even emotionally was focusing on what I love. Right. Like I literally picked up my iPhone and started the blog, and I started feeling alive again. And it was okay, like you guys said, it's about that perspective. And I was okay. Like I was used to working on multi-million-dollar productions in LA. I come home and I create a blog and I'm doing everything with my iPhone. Wow. You're talking about somebody sitting back like, what am I doing? Like it was literally just me and maybe my niece China, shout out to her, but maybe my niece or whoever I could find who would follow me. So I did feel like I missed the mark when I first started, but then when I was like, you didn't miss the mark. You need to go through this to get on the other side. Yeah.
What was the highlight of your blog? Like of the blog and who you interviewed? Was there a moment where you really felt like I'm moving in the right direction? Was there a highlight moment of your blog?
You know what? There was, just like with Hello Forties, there was not one highlight moment. Okay. But it's just like with Hello Forties, the individuals who are featured were selected because it felt right. Right. It felt right. So every time I interviewed someone, like I didn't care how many followers you had or what. If it didn't feel right, I wasn't interested in interviewing you. So I would say my highlight moment was, and it may sound cliche or whatever, but my highlight moment was literally every time I interviewed someone. Wow. It was because of the people who I selected and also selected me, because that was an honor. But hearing their stories, everybody was so passionate. And at this state, like no one gave up on their dreams. So I was just like, every time, thank you for allowing me to interview you.
So you found purpose in doing the blog.
Yes.
Wow.
I did. Wow. And it grew into Hello 40s.
Yes, and which is not always normal in your 40s, because some people feel like they've missed the boat to even find their purpose or live on their dream. So, I mean, just already this whole perspective conversation is leading people, and I do think people need to hear this. That the fact that it's never too late to find your purpose and never too late to put in perspective what you feel like you're here to do. So, man, this is already amazing. And I haven't even seen the documentary yet.
And then how did you transition from the podcast, the blog, to the documentary?
Well, I had to come up with a budget. Look, and to be perfectly honest, I actually started shooting before anything was laid out because I could not wait any longer. So I didn't even come up with a true budget, to be perfectly honest. I transitioned into that literally hiring a videographer. And I had the concept because I was like, it was such a transitional moment for me. I was just like, I know other people feel like this. Like, I know I'm not the only one who feels like this. Like, they've had several aha moments in their 40s. So the more people I spoke with, they said also, and I was like, okay, I feel like I have something. And then I just started reaching out to people that I know, and I hired a videographer, and we placed everyone in position, like who we were going to feature. And it just like spiraled into something beautiful. Yeah. I just decided to do it. And I didn't wait until I had thousands of dollars to get it done. I piecemealed it. I just had to do something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so you actually have entered this in festivals already. When was it completed? When was it completed? And what did that feel like?
Woo. Well, it's so funny. We are literally still working on the final touches.
I love it. I love it.
Listen, it's literally, I had to turn my phone off for a second, but then I was like, oh no, I have to keep my phone on because people were sending me messages. I had to enlist people who were just as passionate to make sure that I could get to the finish line. Not I, but we could get to the finish line. But it to be honest, it's a very stressful process. It's a stressful process, especially, when it's like your child, your baby, trying to see everything through. But the film festival, we submitted it to Pittsburgh Film Festival, and we were honored there. That was beautiful. That was late June.
Did you cry? Did you cry?
I did, and I'm pretty tough. I couldn't hold it back. I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to have an Oprah phase, but I could not hold it back. Like, I started this project in 2019, and it's been so rewarding but challenging also. Like, the sacrifice has been something else. So I just couldn't even hold it. I was just bawling.
Wow.
Yeah.
You sound like you went to Pittsburgh and became a big bowl of Jello. So look, so tell us what the documentary is about, because I hear Forties and all that. Can you just break down the premise without giving too much away? Can you break down what it is and the premise of it, and go into a little detail of what this documentary is about?
Absolutely. Now, Hello Forties is about that aha moment that we have had in our 40s or are in the midst of having in our 40s.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's about. And it's really, really layered. We feature 4 beautifully designed individuals. Now, I'm going to start with Dana, because she is also a Washington, D.C. native. Dana Hicks Hungerford. She is a playwright.
Dana Dane. I'm sorry.
Dana Dane. You know Dana Dane. She is a playwright, a producer, an entrepreneur. She has a handbag line. She's an actress. So we're featuring Dana. We're featuring my cousin, Tony T. Roberson from Pittsburgh. He's a comedian, actor, entrepreneur. He's a DJ as well. We're featuring Fiona Dawson. She's an LGBTQ+ advocate. She's an Emmy-nominated filmmaker. She lives in Austin, Texas. Beautiful person as well. And then Raquel Urena. She is based in New York, and she is an entrepreneur. She has a production company, and she's a life coach. So yeah, we feature these people, and when I tell you, when you hear their stories, it's just like they were completely transparent. They held nothing back. And I
who was the most fascinating to you as a filmmaker? Which one was the most fascinating, and then which one did you learn the most about without knowing? Like, obviously somebody's fascinating, but who did you just learn some about that you thought you knew and you learned more about in the process of creating this documentary?
You know, I can't answer that, but what I can say is it has transitioned throughout the entire time, because I've watched this footage over and over, and every time, like, so it's the documentary is an hour and 20 minutes long. We have so much footage to, even when a network picks it up, we have so much footage that we don't really have to even reshoot anything. But from the time that we started up until now, so every month it was one person that spoke to me. And then another month when I watched it, depending on what I had going on, someone else spoke to me. But when I say that you can find something motivating, inspiring, something is going to light a match up under you when you hear each and every one of their stories, I'm serious. I am serious, because they look different, but they have more in common than we think they do.
Wow. Okay. So I'm sorry, I just want to ask this one last question. So, it's really interesting, because what I'm taking from this is you pick 4 different people from 4 different geographical areas, which is really fascinating. You know, obviously Pittsburgh and New York, it varies or whatever. Who has the most challenging situation from their geographical area to deal with?
In terms of from the filmmaking perspective?
Yeah. Just from the challenges of you recording the situation and what their life is like, because this is very interesting dynamic. But when you come from 4 different regions, 4 different perspectives, 4 different ways of how the community engages, which one is the most challenging?
You know what? And no one was more challenging than the next.
Right.
No one was, because the people who were selected in the documentary were just as eager as we were to tell their stories. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Let me ask you like this then. Let me ask you this question then. So what was the difference between the person that was living life, navigating their 40s in Pittsburgh, than the person navigating their life in New York?
So I can't tell you the storyline. You really have to, but let me tell you this. I really need you to come Saturday. But listen.
This is why I don't get along with HD Woods and people. Y'all always be holding y'all cars in HD. Come on.
No. But this is why I want people to see the documentary, because it's going to speak to you differently.
Right.
It is going to speak to you differently. I will say that, let me say this. Not all of them have had, like when I think about my 40s, I think, yes, challenging but rewarding. Not all of them have had that experience. And that's why they were chosen. I didn't want to only have conversations about beautiful moments. I wanted to see what really is going on, and for people to discuss raw hurt and disappointment, everything.
Right.
You know, one of them, her 40s, she's now 51, if I'm not mistaken, but throughout her 40s were horrible. And she says that on camera. And she explains why. Now, the others, it's, you know, it's a different situation, and I can't tell you who, because I want you to attend Saturday. But yeah, so it's a variation. So not everyone has had the same challenges. It's just different. So they range from early 40s to late 40s. And not everyone has had a good time in their 40s. Let me say that. One of them has had more of an awakening when she hit her 50s. And she expresses that in the documentary.
So Monique, tell us again, it's going down this weekend. We're going to sell this place out. It's amazing. I'm excited about it. Not only we're going to watch this movie, we're going to have a discussion afterwards, and we're going to tap into all of us who've been through our 40s, who are in our 40s or even approaching our 40s. It's just going to be a great conversation. Lay it down, Monique.
So we need everyone there, okay? Absolutely everyone. It is this Saturday, August 20th, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. We highly recommend you get there early. Parking is free, which is rare in DC, okay?
That's important.
Yes.
That is important.
Parking is free, and it is at a beautiful venue, the Alamo Cinema Draft House in DC, off of Rhode Island Avenue. Very easy to find. On my social media, I make sure that I put the address all the time and things like that. But it's at the beautiful Alamo Cinema Theater in DC. It's a red carpet event. So when you arrive to the event, there is going to be a red carpet.
Okay.
You'll be, listen, and then you're going to walk into the beautiful theater. Now, this theater is the second largest theater in DC. The second largest screen in DC. Beautiful, okay? So Marc is our host. He's the event host. Yes, he's our host. So the 30-30.
You couldn't have found nobody better than Marc. Let me just say that. You couldn't have found nobody better than Marc.
I agree.
I thought the joke was coming, Bootsy. Okay, fine.
But Allison Seymour. No, go ahead.
I agree with you. But the first 30 minutes, we're just going to arrive, and you can also order food there. They have food, drinks, libations, everything. Like, it's beautiful. And then after that, we'll watch the film, which is an hour and 20 minutes, and then we're going to have a Q&A session. The Q&A session will consist of the documentary subjects, and Marc will facilitate that Q&A.
Couldn't have found nobody better to do that either. I'm just saying.
Yes. So again, the Alamo Draft House Cinema in DC from 3 to 6 p.m. It's a red carpet event. We're going to have a good time, and people will leave that event fired up and ready. Even if they are already moving forward with what they want to do, they're going to be more inspired, and they're going to leave that event motivated. I guarantee you, when you walk into that event, you're going to feel love.
Oh, I love it. Well, Monique,
I guarantee you.
I feel the love now, and I'm not even there, so I can feel it.
We're excited, Monique. We're proud of you, and this the whole story itself is inspiring. And I know people who are watching, who are sitting there trying to figure some things out, got a few answers today, thanks to you and thanks to Bootsy. Monique, any parting words as we wrap things up?
I do want to leave everyone with one word. Buy your tickets. With one phrase, like, buy your tickets. Eventbrite.
That's 3 words. Don't worry about it. That's 3 words, but don't worry about it.
Right. This is what I meant to mention. Eventbrite. That is where you can purchase tickets. Okay. Eventbrite, and we are very close to selling out. So please don't wait until the last minute. Okay. Purchase your tickets. But the last thought is to simply do what you love. Get out of your own way and just do it. Your future self will thank you. Your future self will thank you. I
Monique?
promise you.
You gonna make me look
Monique?
at H.G. Wilson all different again. I mean, I'm about to change all my perspectives. Shout out to Bob Hedden. Shout out to Byron Leftwich, the offensive coordinator at Tampa Bay for Tom Brady. I mean, you made me think a lot different now, boy. Woo.
Monique, Bootsy, love you guys. Thank you so much, everybody
Congratulations,
watching.
Monique.
Make sure if you're on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. Me and Bootsy are back in a big way, and we will see you Saturday.